Hello and welcome. My name is Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today we're going to talk about sublimation on hoodies. So not just the front of hoodies, but also the pocket. So when I do a design on a hoodie, I like to do that big front pocket as well. So I really think it adds something special to the hoodie itself. Now I got this particular hoodie off Amazon, but you can use any kind of polyester based hoodie. I would recommend a light color if you're going to use sublimation. Now I will link to all the supplies as well as the files I'm using in the description below this video. If you're on computer, scroll down, click show more. If you're on mobile, swipe up on the video or click the arrow to expand the description. There you'll find a list of supplies, the hoodie link, a link to the files, everything you would need to make this project yourself. So now let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use. You'll need a polyester hoodie or a hoodie intended for sublimation, lint roller, protective paper, heat resistant tape, and then you'll need your sublimation prints. Now these are sublimation ink printed on sublimation paper using a sublimation printer. For the process I'm going to use 3 different sublimation prints. One that is for like the chest area, just a plain sublimation print. I chose to do it this way because I liked the sizing, but you can do it whatever size, orientation, whatever you would like. Then I'm using a coordinating print and I printed it out twice because I'm going to need all of this to cover the pocket that's on the front of the hoodie. And I'm going to show you how to do that and join these 2 sublimation prints on that pocket. So you will note that the background of these prints is white. I'm not super great yet at joining sublimation prints that have a background that is a color. So I choose to stick with the white for now, and it is a great place to start if you're getting started with sublimation. So let's take a look at applying these to our hoodie. You will also need a heat source for this. I'm going to use my Cricut AutoPress because it's the largest heat source I have. I start by adding protective paper inside of the pocket. You'll also want to add it inside of the shirt when we do that portion, but inside of the pocket as well, just so your sublimation print does not bleed through. And then I want to cover this entire pocket with the sublimation print. However, I like to avoid the seams. It makes it a little bit easier. And I like all of my stars to be whole. So in this case, it's stars, but whatever you're using to put on the pocket, I like them all to be whole and not cut off. So I'm actually trimming the sublimation print of all the stars that are cut off by the edges or would be cut off by the seams, in my case, on the pocket of the hoodie. So I did that all the way around, all 4 sides. So there's a couple different ways you can get the size right. You can see where the seam is and make a small slit in your sublimation print and use that as a guide as you trim around your sublimation print. Or you can put your sublimation print and sort of bend it back where the seam is to give you a line to cut away any of the excess off of the edge. Either way you want to do it, just make the sublimation print where it fits the pocket of your hoodie in this case. And I had 2 sublimation prints in order to cover the entire thing because I only have a printer that prints 8.5 by 14 maximum. That would not cover this entire hoodie pocket. So I did 2 8.5 by 11 prints, but you could do like an 8.5 by 14 plus a few other stars, however you want to do it. And I'm just doing these 2 prints. There will probably be some area in the middle that is left sort of white, but I think it will be fine for what my needs. However, you could print out some more stars, some more whole stars, and tape those in the middle as well. So once I have my sublimation prints cut, will cover the hoodie pocket. Now it's time to head to the heat press. So I want to put this in the heat press, and even with the auto press, I cannot do this pocket all in one press. So I'm going to do it in 2 different presses. First I want to pre-press, so I'm pre-pressing the entire pocket, meaning I need to pre-press twice. I'm going to use 385 degrees for this, and for the sublimation portion I'm going to use 55 seconds, but for the preheat I just do it for about 10 seconds. Then lint roll over the entire pocket, and then add those sublimation prints that I trimmed away in the last step. I add those sublimation prints and tape them down. Taping where the seams are means that even if your tape leaves marks, it'll be on the seam and won't be as noticeable. So I like to tape on the seams only if I can. Then cover that with protective paper and go ahead and close the auto press, heating at that 385 degrees for 55 seconds. Now you will note I have the hoodie upside down at this point, so the majority of that bulk of the hoodie is sticking out of the auto press. Once that first 55-second press is done, I'm just gonna carefully, very carefully move the pocket over and do the second press. Then after that second press is complete and the auto press pops up, I can remove the protective paper as well as my sublimation prints. Then I can move on to the chest portion of my hoodie. So I flip the hoodie around. First I want to pre-press this hoodie, and you'll note that I have the hood like down inside the auto press. I do like the auto press. It opens really wide so I can kind of stick the hood way down in there because it's so bulky, because you don't want those seams or even those metal pieces of your hoodie inside of your heat press. Those metal pieces can actually scratch the top of your heat press. So then we're going to pre-press and then lint roll, and then we'll add our sublimation print. And for this, I'm going to add some foam inside the hoodie to try to minimize the press marks. I do have another thing for you about press marks at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Now I put the foam inside, covered the foam with some protective paper, and then located my sublimation print. So I like to fold my sublimation print in half to get approximately the center, line that up with the center of my hoodie, and get it as straight as possible, making sure that the foam is under the print all the way around. Then I'm going to cover that with protective paper and press 385 degrees, 55 seconds. Once that pops up, I can remove the protective paper as well as the sublimation print, and this sublimation hoodie is complete. All right, so now that this is out of the auto press, if you have press marks, which you might have, where the sublimation print sits or whatever. So I like to heat my Easy Press Mini up all the way to the 3rd setting and just sort of like lightly run over those. As long as you don't hold it in one spot too long, you won't reactivate the sublimation. So I just sort of go around and knock those press marks out. And I almost have this where like you can barely see the press marks. So I kind of like hold it in the light, like at an angle, see if I can see any press marks. If I can see one in an area, just like run my Easy Press over it. And I'm doing that for both the pocket as well as the chest design as well. And that helps get rid of all those press marks or the lines around my sublimation print. So it's just one hack, especially on this polyester hoodie. The paper itself seemed to like leave quite a bit of marks. And it's just gonna depend on the hoodie you pick or the sublimation blank you're using for this method. I'm like thrilled with the way this one turned out. I love the pocket with the stars itself. Now I did note that my pocket would have a few like white blank areas in the center. If you didn't want those, I would cut out additional stars and put them in those places while you were working with piecing your sublimation prints together. So that's the only thing that maybe I would change on mine. I do like the way it turned out, but I might change that. But otherwise, I love the way it turned out. So all you need is a design for the chest portion, and then a matching design for your pocket portion, and you are ready to sublimate on a hoodie for all of those fall events. Now, can you make this if you don't have a big press like the auto press? I definitely think so. So you saw with the auto press that I still had to press twice. There was zero effect on the stars themselves. So I definitely think you could press even 3 times if you needed to reach all the way across that hoodie pocket. So don't be afraid of this project if you don't have a large heat press. If you just have the Easy Press, you can definitely tackle it. Just take your time, move the press, overlap each time to make sure you get each area evenly heated. And I think you will love sublimating on hoodies. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about sublimating on hoodies, drop down in the comment section, ask away. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.